everybody. Good afternoon. This is round 2 of our How Did We Get Here video series that we're doing at Mountain Valley Realty. And the first agent is actually my mom, Vicki. So I'm going to refer to her as Vicki during this, I think. And so basically from my video, I explained like how I got to this point, my background and all that good stuff. And so I'm going to have her explain her history and all that good stuff. So it's going to be informal, obviously. It'll be kind of like an interview. But basically, I'm going to have you explain how did you get here, what's your past work history, and why did you get into real estate? So, Tag, you're it.
Well, we could go on for hours, but I'm going to cut it as short and sweet as possible. So, coming from South Jersey, we found the area by accident, which is a whole long story all of its own. And I knew when we were here looking for property that eventually I did want to be a realtor and thought maybe I could do things a little different than what we were experiencing when we were looking for property. And 300 miles is a long way to get accurate information, and in those days we were very simplistic, and that was the middle 90s. I ended up getting my license in 2002. I worked at 3 different offices, and I decided in 2007 I was going to go to school and get my broker's license, and we were going to do this ourselves. So I encourage Chris, and I'm sure you heard through her story, her decision making at that time. She had gotten her license and she was kind of following along with my footsteps. And once I got my broker's license, we rented the building down here on Route 6 across from Pizza Hut. And it was just the 2 of us sitting at one big desk, and we slowly evolved into a very, very busy office. In the first 3 to 5 months, people realized what was going on, and Mountain Valley Realty was established. But I knew all along, and I've known this since she was 6 years old, that sooner or later she would be a great CEO or eventually my boss, and that evolved in time. We were there 3 years. I bought the building we're in now, remodeled it, knowing that I would pass the crown to her and move with her into the next century.
Wow, that makes all of us seem old.
I am a lot older.
Before real estate, what did you do? Like, what was your experience and with whether customer service or business or any of that stuff? Tell them a little bit about
I
your
have
past.
always been involved in the public. I grew up in a home with a father who sold cars part-time, and he had such great salesmanship ability and a great personality with people. And yet I had a mother who was very stern and strict and enforced being diligent and a good person and never give up and always march forward in your goals. I worked at a few different companies, and then I went on my own when I started a greenhouse business and had the girls and decided I wanted to stay home with them and raise them at home. I really didn't want to drag them off to a daycare. I just wanted to have them there with me. So we actually had a greenhouse business, and I've always done artwork. And we went to tons and tons of craft shows, and Chris was dragged along, unfortunately, from a very little age to help. And she really did well. Even then, I knew she was going to be great with business. I mean, she would hold the clipboard and write invoices out and get mad when people wouldn't listen to her because she was only 8. And she got very tall very quick, and we went to a lot more shows over the years. She started really taking command of our orders, and we were very, very busy between the greenhouse business and the artwork. My other daughter had to come and help along as well sometimes, but she had other interests, and it just all evolved that I knew once we moved to Tioga County, which was a major step for me. I was so happy that we were able to move here. I knew that eventually we would be doing our own thing. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
So, how many years have you been doing this now?
I got my license in 2002 and became a broker in 2009.
So how many years is that?
and that was 7 years. And then I sold to you in May of 2016, where I then reverted back to being the associate broker and am working for Chris ever since. And she's a tough boss, and we have very, very good values and traditions about being professionals. And I really was dead set on having our own office so that we could perform professionally in our own way.
Yeah. So 2016, we'll back up to that. So at that point, she decided to sell the business, and it wasn't the only thing that was like life-changing at that point. And, you know, I wanted to do these videos just to kind of bring everybody up to date with everything, because there was a lot of people who at that point thought that she retired because they didn't know who Vicki Murphy was, because she also took back her maiden name. So she was previously Victoria Costanzo, and so when you see Vicki Murphy, this is who we're talking about.
Oh gosh.
And you know, you went through a lot of different changes at that point. So she kind of rebranded herself as an agent again, and still she's the associate broker here, but she has many years of her clients and everybody that she has continued to use and work with and cultivate. So what, I know we've kind of went over a lot of different things, but you, not talking about me or Liz or the business or anything, like what makes you different and unique and special with your clients, and what do you do different than other agents don't do?
Well, I get involved sometimes probably on too much of a personal basis. I just feel like it was an important journey for us to uproot our family and move here. And 90% of my clients over the years have been the people coming from the suburbs of Philadelphia or New Jersey or wherever. And I just felt it was very important for them to realize they're coming here like it's a foreign country to them, and they needed to know more about the area. And there was the longest time I would just traipse around explaining all the different buildings in town and the canyon and everything. And I just it was important to me to get people from point A to point B and feel like we were just nice to hang out with and yet be professional. That was the goal. I just wanted people to understand that you have to remain professional. It's not a glamorous job. We run into so many problems, and it takes a lot of patience and determination to get people through these problems, because they have no clue most of the time. If they've not purchased before or have not been here, they have no clue what has to transpire to get from the initial meeting to a successful closing. So I just feel like we need to be hands-on more, and it's not just about making money, because we go months without making any money.
Mm-hmm.
I think people think that it's a glamorous job we have, but when you have to traipse in snow on a Sunday morning out in Timbuktu and the people are running late, and you know, it's not about the money, it's about the service.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Well, I really feel that I am very proud of what you're going to continue to do here.
This isn't about me, though.
I
This is your
understand.
video.
Well, this is, but it's me telling you as not just an employee, but as your mom, that I knew you would do well, and it was time to make the transition. I will continue, though, to do real estate. So people did think I retired, which was kind of odd for me to think about. I would have loved to have retired, but I don't think I'll ever really full-time retire. And I am available. I would love to help people, again, getting from point A to point B, whether they're first-time home buyers or, you know, selling and moving back downstate to be with their grandchildren. It's an important process.
You want to know what I think your special talent is with this, and then we can wrap it up. So I think that even with the other businesses and everything, I've seen it in real estate, and the agents here have seen it and everything. You know, she works very hard for her clients. Sometimes she takes on their personal problems, and it wears on her, which you become like family with your clients and so close to them that it's hard to separate them. But I think that your magic little whatever is the problem solving. You don't give up. No. Like literally, when all the other offices or agents or whoever is ready to throw in the towel, this one is literally up all night thinking of weird oddball ways to fix things and to creatively to make it happen.
Well, you have to think out of the box. I mean, buying a home or relocating is just as important as graduation, marriage, babies. It's part of a life journey. And you just can't give up because there's a problem with the septic system or the roof was leaking at the time. And there's always ways to figure things out on both sides of the deal, buyers and sellers. And I am determined at all times to figure that out. I once said to somebody else in the industry that until I am at the bottom of the ocean and can't breathe anymore, I will not give up.
It's a true story.
It's a very odd analogy, but it's the truth.
Oh gosh. Well, we appreciate everybody taking the time to watch this video. And again, this is Vicki, and her cell phone is 570-439-0821. And if you want to put her 17 years of experience to work, you know how to get a hold of her. You can always call and ask for her at the office also. And
I want to thank everybody that worked with me over the years. I have had so many wonderful clients. I was told once, long ago, that I'm not supposed to get friendly with my clients, and again, that's what I do. I really want to help, and so a great big thanks. I've had so many of you that have bought and sold over the years with me numerous times, not just once. Mm-hmm. And it's just a proud, good feeling, and I again am glad she's able to take over and move it on to the next level of generations.
Well, thank you everybody, and we will see you next week with whoever I pull out of the hat to pick next, because I don't have any volunteers yet. So thank you. Have a good weekend.